Hey guys, this is another episode of the Lawn Care Leaders Podcast. I am your show host, Britt. Have a pretty interesting one for you today. I am on the road, getting ready to hop in a plane to Nashville. So my little brother had a baby girl that was born last week. And then my wife's sister lives out in Nashville, and she just had her baby yesterday. So getting ready to go meet them. So wanted to throw this up here. Give a couple shout outs and also drop another episode. And as we speak, as I'm recording this, I'm also recording some stuff for YouTube. Kind of an interesting thing that we're going to go over today. We've had some questions around brochures, when to do it, stuff like that. So I wanted to throw this one up on the YouTube channel. If you guys would do me a huge favor, stop right now, pause this episode, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We don't have a lot of content up there yet, but as we get more and more listeners and kind of the audience for it, we'll start throwing every episode up there. But that would help us out a lot if you'd go subscribe to that. And then also, when you're listening to this episode, you may want to re-listen to it on the YouTube channel because you'll actually be able to visually see what we're talking about. But anyways, today's shout out comes from an Instagram follower. Let me get here. It is Northern Iowa Property Services, and this guy's name is Eric Blome. Eric, hope I'm saying your last name correct, but wanted to give a shout out to him, say thank you for listening, Eric. Really appreciate it. And gonna answer your question. It was a little more in-depth question. Most of the stuff over DM, I'll just shoot you a quick response back, but this one, I think a lot of people are going to have the same question, and so I wanted to touch on that and give you a little more thorough answer. So thought it might be nice to throw it up on the podcast. Anyways, it says, "Hey Britt, just wanted to say I'm loving your podcast." Thank you for that. "My name is Eric Blome. I live in Waterloo, Iowa. I work 10 hours a day as a welder and listen to your podcast all the time. This year I started Northern Iowa Property Services with the goal of going full-time. So I think a lot of you guys can relate to that. I currently have 7 recurring mowing accounts, 3 cleanups, and a quarter-mile edging job that I have done this year." That don't sound fun. Quarter-mile edging job. "I'm going to be helping another lawn care company in return for some hot leads, which I would like to maybe even hop on a call with you and figure out what that means. Like, are you going to be subcontracting for the guy, or is he going to be pitching you stuff because you're doing a referral program with him? Anyways, I'd like to delve into that with you. Do you think that is, let's see here. My question/problem is that I feel I miss my window of opportunity for going door-to-door knocking and passing out flyers. Do you think that is the case? Or would I be fine going out and doing some more? Let me know when you get the chance. Thank you and God bless." So, thank you, Eric. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Right now, you are trying to go full-time. Your time is cheap. I know you're working a full-time job, but on the lawn care side, your time is cheap. So anything that you do, even though it might not be the right time or it might not be the correct way to go about it, your time is cheap. So everything is going to give you an ROI at this point. I would say go out there, shake the tree, see what falls out, pound the pavement, start knocking doors, meeting people. Anything that you can do to start branding is going to help you. Yes, we are on like the 3/4 marker for marketing season, like 3/4 of the way through, but you still can pick up some good sales. The other thing I would say that might add value to you guys out there, needs versus wants. I'm in a business where the client doesn't really need to do weed control. Like, in the back of their mind, they're like, okay, if I want it to look good, but it falls under the category more of a want. And so it's more of a luxury item per se. For mowing, landscaping, well, not even landscaping, but mowing, trimming, cleanup jobs, those are more of a need, more of a necessity, a have to have. And if you're in an affluent neighborhood, the HOA will be on those people if the yard's not mowed, if it's not cleaned up, not looking good. Now, sometimes they'll get on them about weeds, but the majority of the time it's just around mowing. So I would say think about that too. Yes, the sales season for those wants will drop off, but those things that people need, a necessity, you can sell that the majority of the year. Also think about this. You're going into the heat of the summer. So those things that people have to do as it gets hotter and hotter, they're not going to want to do it. So keep that in mind as well. So I would say front load the wants in the spring. Those things that are a little more affluent, those things that people want, it's paying extra. And then after you try to crush that, you know, the recurring revenue for fertilizing and weed control, mulch, landscape installations, tree removal, then you go into trying to push more and more the necessity. So hope that helps. And then here's what I want to do now. You asked, you kind of went into further detail about some brochures you had. It said, let's see here. Maybe we could talk about some pricing mistakes people make. I shoot for 40 to 60 an hour, and then you start talking about your brochure. So here's what I'm going to get into first of all. Yes, you need to know your hourly rate, and you need to know your return on investment. In the beginning, you have to just figure out, okay, how much do I want to make per hour, and then back into that. Same for every job. But most of the time, you just want to get to the point where you're making a certain margin. On mowing, you want to do per hour, but on all other landscape jobs, tree removal, irrigation, you're going to be more focusing on, okay, do I want 30% margin, 50% margin, whatever it is, and then back into it from there. But I don't want to talk about that too much. We can do that on another episode. What I want to address right here is my brochure. The main thing for brochures that I would say is you have just a split second to, one, catch their attention and find common ground, and two, tell them what you do. The mistake that I see everybody make is there's way too much information, and so it gets pitched right out of the gate. You have to, within a split second, they be able to visually see what you do. And then secondly, when they see what you do, you want them to be able to either see, hey, this is a good price, or find common ground. And so I'm going to show you kind of what we have laid out. I will preface this by saying we don't have it all figured out, but we do get anywhere from a 1.5% to 2% return. A lot of factors go into that, like the area. Is it 2-car garage, 3-car garage? Have we branded ourselves in that area for a few years? All that comes into play. And then we had like a lot of freezing temperatures, so that comes into play as well. But on average, 1.5 to 2% return for me is pretty good. So here's what we got. This is our brochure. As you can see, right up top, we're trying to find common ground and stand out. It says, we just serviced your neighbor's lawn. So immediately they're thinking, okay, my neighbor has them and I don't. Secondly, we've told them what we do. We service your neighbor's lawn. And at this point, they're going to know, okay, I'm kind of interested. Let's see what this is about, or they're not interested at all. But at least out of the gate, they know what you've done, and they know what you do. And then it says, we wanted to leave you a quote. Your price per application is. And right up here, we leave their price per application. What this does for us, this is a little trick that we started doing, I think our second year in business, is it skips a step in the sales process and makes us a little more efficient. By putting the price in here, when we get a call back, 9 times out of 10, that person's interested because they've got the price. And, oh, hold on here. I'm getting a call, 1 second.